I'm really excited right now about the NCAA tourney. And I know in the past it's usually typical. People are always talking about the men's tourney, and there's been a lot of advancement with women, but I'm all in right now on the women's tourney, like more than the men's. Like it is more exciting to me. I'm happy about it. Maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I'm biased, but that's what I want to get into.
I'll jump in here. You're not biased, okay? NCAA women's basketball is literally making her story, okay? Not history, her story. I mean, we're seeing sellouts across the space. I mean, South Carolina's been selling out all year. Stanford's been selling out all year. But looking at these games, particularly in this tournament, they have recorded the most amount of minutes streamed of any of their games. This is men or women's side, right? They said, Holly Rowe tweeted yesterday, if you build it, they will come. That's what the NCAA women's space right now is. And what's even better is that all of these girls, young women, keep breaking history, right? Like Maddie Seagrass at Villanova has now had 36 games with 20 points or more. Last person to hold that, Kelsey Plum, was up there, right? So just look at that. Kelsey Plum was just the #1 draft pick just a few years ago. This is recent generations blowing out long-held records. And it's so exciting to see that the game is evolving. And what's really exciting, brands and the fan base are evolving with them. They're following the storylines. They're buying tickets. They're feeding into the fandom around the game. And I'm mostly excited for this to translate to the WNBA level, because we know that that's what it takes in order to get the WNBA what they need in terms of resources and pay and all the above. It starts here. When you have sellout crowds and you've got year over year growth in viewership and year over year growth in buying tickets and buying merch and all the above, that's how you set the foundation for an amazing NCAA women's space going into the WNBA space.
I mean, you just hit on all of it. Like you said, I mean, women's basketball, selling tickets, we're watching. It's exciting basketball. We just had controversy, at the end of the game the other day in the sportsmanship lot. Bringing the heat. I think that's why we love March, and it's exciting, for me as someone who went to University of Maryland, watching this Maryland team, a team where Brenda Freeze had 9 new players, folks. Think about that, rebuilding your roster, one returning starter. You're talking about it leading into the WNBA. Look at what Diamond Miller, has been able to do, for that Maryland women's basketball team. Aaliyah Boston, another name, South Carolina, undefeated, right? And
dominant.
Dawn Staley not letting anybody else have any greatness. She's continuing to get that greatness. Another projected #1 pick, right, in the upcoming WNBA draft, and Diamond Miller projected #2 pick in the WNBA draft.
Yep.
It's been the SEC for the women. I mean, has also been showing out for basketball. For women's basketball, it's at an all-time high. I'm excited for the young girls to continue to see this grow, because so many are watching them, what they're doing. Notre Dame, another team, I think that, it's defying the odds, right? You look at the injury, is Notre Dame going to get there? And once again, players stepping up. And this is why every team wants that one shining moment, right? Because you just don't know going to be that player that steps up, and the other team that's going to bite the dust. So for me, the women's tournament has been just as fun. I've been following all of the games. The excitement is there. If you're not watching, now's the best time to get into it, because these girls can hoop. And I think, the tournament, everyone would say, we know who's going to win. No, you don't this year.
You don't. You definitely
not
don't.
know.
And
not know.
Who's beating the game back? Right, I know. I mean, I don't. Wait. I agree. I chose the Gamecock, but I want to double back to 2 points that you hit on, Kelsey. Number 1, the drama in the line. Right, this is Haley Van Lith from Louisville, Sonia Morris from Texas. What I love most about that moment, we don't have to dig deep into what was said, because we still don't know what was said. We got to figure this out. But what I love about that is,
I'm good at reading lips.
Well, we know what Sonia said. I don't know what was said for her to say what she said, right? Okay. But what I love most about that whole interaction is the evolution of the game to allow these young women to be competitors, right? Yeah. This whole conversation. I mean, I remember even back when Skylar Diggins was playing, when she would get into the stands and get, rip her jersey and all the things, like, people be like, calm down. You're a young woman. Right? You have to, carry yourself like a lady. I love Angel Reese talking. I love Haley Van Lith being like, girl, just beat your team by 20, please. Like, I love that energy because these young women have not been able to have that sort of energy on the court. And so that is another factor of the game evolving, is that they get to be the full player that they are on the court. So that's super exciting. Yes.
And I think it's really important. I think it's really important, though. I'm sorry, Kelsey. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Unapologetically being able to be themselves. It's so important. Because so often as women, we're taught to, quote, behave, and kind of have this polished look. For me, LSU's Angel Reese has been one of my favorite players to watch, even though she left my Maryland Terrapins, but it's okay because she's balling out at LSU from Baltimore, and she brings it to the court every time. She is her. And I think that's so important for people to see and witness, because why on the men's side, it's acceptable, for a coach to take off his shirt, and we loved it. I love that. But why on the women's side are we going to say, calm down, tone down? She should never be.
Exactly.
Where we have to stop the double standards. Ladies, keep bringing it, because young girls are going to see that in this world you can be accepted for who you are. And let's be honest, this is why we love sports. We want the trash talk. Yeah. We want to bring that heat to the court to make the game better.
And
Angel Reese is such a unique. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying overall, how the coverage of how we talk about them, right? And I mean, that's what you were hitting on. And the coverage just needs to be better, like with respect to the biases, whatever it is. Like, I'm going to just say it. There's a Stanford bias, because when Ole Miss won, even just throughout that game, there was just so much, Stanford, and not enough Ole Miss for me. And that's, like you said, how they talk about the players, like, oh, when the women act a certain way, it's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. So in general, the coverage needs to be better. And I really liked, because I saw this piece from Anscape where they started talking about the protective styles that the Black players wear. And I think that's important to educate the audiences on how they wear their hair and why they wear it, because we know, I mean, there are states where laws have been passed to protect against discrimination of hair, like for locks and braids, like I'm wearing right now. So the coverage needs to get better, and like pieces like this from Anscape and us continuing to talk about it will allow people to start getting the coverage better, because we have to educate them.
For sure. And the thing about it is, when you think about the audience of women's basketball, predominantly old, predominantly white. And so they don't have the typical exposure to young Black women to be able to understand why they're wearing their hair like that. Why is there colors one day and there was a different color the next day? This was crazy that this changed so quickly. That's a whole different element to the game for them, is this personality of the players showing up on the court. Another thing I wanted to get back to as well, speaking of Black players, but also Black coaches, right? You guys talked about Dawn Staley. You talked about Notre Dame with Niall Ivey. I mean, and now obviously Ole Miss with Coach Yo. This identity is so important. And it was so cool for Dawn Staley to pay homage to Cheney State for an all-women staff getting to the Final Four that was all Black, right? Led by Vivian Stringer. Like, that's history right there. And it's so interesting for how many Black players there are in the NCAA women's basketball space and the WNBA. It's a rarity. And so it's exciting to see the game evolve from the players' perspective, but also the leadership and the people that are carrying the game forward from a coaching perspective as well. And I think to kind of wrap it all up, to get back to your point, Nat, the next step is the coverage. And what I'm most excited about, Andrea Carter.
Oh,
right?
she's incredible.
I mean, she's amazing, right? Carolyn Peck, of course, a legend in this space. But Monica McNutt, like you're getting more of these voices that also played the game, but are now able to speak from their personality and their perspective as Black women too. And you can hear it in even the way that Andrea Carter talks about the players. She's not describing them in these like physical attributes that have previously been solely on the size of the players or their physical. She's talking about their intelligence, their ability to read plays, their skill. Thank you. And so I love this evolution all across the board for this game. And again, it's not just the Black players, of course. We talked about Haley Van Lith, talk about the Cavender twins down in Miami. People are just getting the opportunity to be themselves out there. And that is what's most exciting about women's basketball.
And I think it's just showing the versatility of women's basketball players. But again, I think we can't also go away from the head. You talked about it. I think we have about 6 Black coaches between the men's and women's side, right? As we look to the Sweet 16, we're getting closer and closer to the Final Four. It takes me back to 2021. history was made when we had 2 Black head coaches, right? Don Staley in Arizona. And Barnes, right, leading their teams to the Final Fours, for the first time in Division I NCAA tournament history. So all that to say, look at the progress that we've made. And even then, talk about, look at us, we're representing different hairstyles on the show. We come from different backgrounds and experience. Now, I think it's society catching up with us. I love seeing I used to wear braids and locks, and I love that we can be ourselves. They can bring it to the basketball court. These girls are doing it with braids down their back and scoring more buckets probably than any of us score on the basketball court. And, and with the nails, and now it's more acceptable. And you talk about the broadcasters as well. Monica and Elle, they also all bring it. And so now it's just the rest of us just need to get with it, because they're going to continue to be themselves. They're going to continue to excel. These players are the future. And now I'm already excited to watch them on in the WNBA.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.